Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the
Hello.
Simply Together show on the 2nd of April. It's sunny, but there's a little bit of grey cloud out there. So hopefully it will, I don't know what the forecast is, but hopefully we'll continue with the sun. So we have a couple of guests on the show today. So before I go to them, how are you doing, Nike?
I'm good, thank you. Good. Still full of the joys of Easter. Yeah. I've given up on the chocolate already. But
have you?
It's all good. I'm very excited. Oh yeah, I've had enough now. I've had enough.
You have to space it out. Eat it little by little, not all in one go.
We don't have that. We don't have that skill. If we
had that skill,
it would be a different conversation if we had that skill.
Oh, okay. That's a skill that I have that my siblings and my children do not like, because they eat all of theirs and I still have some and they don't like that. It's always been like that, even since I was younger, always. I would have chocolates left and my mum and my brother would have eaten all of theirs. Did I share?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Anyway, enough of that. Welcome, Taniesha. Welcome, Tony, to our show today.
Hello.
Hiya. I'm going to talk to Taniesha first. So Nike and Tony are going to leave the screen and they will come back a little bit later. So
cool.
Maybe. There we go. Hello, Taniesha. How are you doing?
Hiya. I'm okay. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You are welcome. So before we get on to what you've come on here to talk about, tell us a little bit about you. What do you do? Just a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I'm Taniesha, everyone. I work with a company called Secret Angels PA. So basically, it's a PA service that we work with disability or vulnerable people. We take them on the community. We do all sorts with them. We teach them how to do stuff if they would like to. It's really a rewarding service that we do. And behind the backstage anyway, we've got like a lovely team that we work with also. Sometimes we got like 5 staff with one client. So it's easy for us to, communicate with and stuff like that. So it is really good and really rewarding. And so if anyone want to join us, you can join our Secret Angels service, or the people, they call us angels. So that's what we are.
So we've had Secret Angels on our show a couple of times already. My background is social care, 30 years in social care before I became full-time therapist. So I know all about that kind of work and how rewarding it can be, and getting people out into the community to access things that they may not be able to do if they didn't have that support. So yes, really lovely, really, really lovely work.
Thank you.
But today you've come on to talk about something slightly different.
Yes, it's a part of Secret Angels. So it's a charity foundation where it's MMAS Foundation, and it really starts from the Maddison, McKenzie, Agama, Spencer Foundation. And it was founded in 2012, which it is not a for-profit organization.
Okay.
So it's a little bit like Secret Angels, but this club that I'm running, because I'm the co-coordinator for the club, Life Skills, it's just to get them all together on the Thursday. It made up of support network and experienced professional who works closely with talented individual. It's our foundation builds confident, helping the additional target education and focus on personal development. So this is the club that on a Thursday from 12:30 to 3:30, we don't stay in one place. We branch out, because we're looking maybe next year to branch out in like Bedford, or not just in Luton. So we want this foundation to grow, this Thursday club to grow. It's just, we come together, we get people coming in like talking about sexual education, because our clients are really vulnerable when it gets to online safety. It's just sexual education, just for them to know what's safe or what not to safe, not to go with men or ladies, or get into that feel. We teach about, it's like a school likewise, but not a school. It's more fun than a school. So we get like we do gardening center, clock reading, because most of them don't notice how the time.
Right.
Baking, we do all sorts. But coming to summer now, we're doing something fun, like we got sports day, a day to the beach, to the seaside, all of that. We're in our little bag ready to pop out.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's basically it. It's easy to join as well, so you can just
How old are the people that you're supporting?
It's
that you're working
18 and over. So it's it's an adult service. So it's 18 and over, and yeah, go on.
And how long have you been running? How long has it been how long have you been doing this?
It's been it's been there for a long time, but I took over. So my opening will be this Thursday at the Irish Forum. So if anyone want to come and join in, you can come and see more. Lots of giveaway, lots of practical thing. You can meet some of our Thursday Club members also. And if you want to join in, you can join in on that day also.
So obviously you're on here today. How else have you been able to share this information now? How would they have found you?
You can go onto our social media, Instagram, or you can go onto our website also. Just type in the mmasfoundation.org.uk.
Okay. Why are you doing it? Why are you leading it? What is it that makes you passionate about this?
When it comes to kids and disabled people, I've got a soft spot in my heart for them. It's not like even my clients, say for instance, my client is going through something. I literally not cry, but I feel so sad for them, not because they are disabled, or it's just I've got a really soft spot for them. And I've got my communication with the managers as well is also easy. I think because I've got a lot of clients and they're easy to talk to me because I'm fun, I guess. Everyone say I'm fun. I don't treat them like they've got a disability.
Okay.
And I've got a passion for improving, their life skill and stuff. So that's why I think they chose me.
And some people don't have that passion. Some people kind of just go in, it's just a job, they do what they do.
Exactly. Yeah. For me, even for the PA service, it's not just a job. I know that, yes, it's giving me my monthly payment, but it's not just a job for me. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I've got a passion for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And is this something that you thought you would go into, or?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I used to work as in a retail shop from 16 and then branch out to adults, like looking in a care home. Then I was like, oh my God, I'm scared, But I literally, the first week that I was doing the PA service, I got like phone messages from my client, like, thank you, Taniesha, you literally brought me out in the community. I feel really safe, so getting all of that messages back, I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready for this. And it's just like going out with my kids. As I say, the soft spot for kids, because I've got 3 of my own, and it's just really just a passion to be with. And when I go out with my clients, you get people staring at them like, it's not, I literally get involved in that sense. But no, you can't just look at a disabled person and say, oh, look at them. No.
And it's quite funny that people still do that. You know, it's like very similar to yours, because I used to do admin work, used to work in offices, went back and did my degree. And when I finished my degree, I needed a job. And the first job that came along was working in a LD person's care home, and thought, okay, this seems to be quite good. And then I moved into learning dis and mental health and stayed there for like 28 years doing that kind of work. But going back 30 years, people were still staring then, and they still do it now. Exactly. Have we not moved on from this?
I don't think so. I don't think they're educated enough to move on from them. But
no,
that's just, you know. But I stand up for my clients, sorry, because they're human beings. So.
Yeah, and somebody needs to.
Yeah,
because otherwise there is, I mean, it's just really sad to think that we're 2024 and a carer, a support worker has to stand up for the client they're out with because of what people may say or the fact they may stare at them, which is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. You know, I thought that would have stopped along the way, but we're still there. Here's a question then. So do you think this education needs to come into schools?
I think so, definitely. But that's another thing, or the MMAS Foundation is looking into, is going into schools, you know, like the naughty kids or even teenage pregnancy. That's where we're looking to grow the foundation too.
Okay.
So if it's not teaching in school, we'll get it in school, because I think that's something that we'll need to be teaching into school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that's where it needs to start. Because if the kids are not seeing this in school, then how are they going to react to that outside of school?
Exactly. Because you know, when my kids were growing up, I make sure I tell them that if they see any disabled, person on the street or kids, don't laugh or don't turn up your nose on them. So they grow up now and, they're not like that because I've been teaching them. So if it's been in school or, teaching somewhere, it would be all right, because it will remove the stigma and provide, the education that needs to be.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's my children who are grown adults. They have no issues at all around anybody with a disability, learning this, anything like that, because I used to take them into work. So they've been around people since they were little.
Yeah, exactly. Say that my mom is a carer for how many years, and my kids have grown up seeing my mom as a carer, and she still is, bless her. I think she needs to retire, but it's time, but she don't want to give it up. As there's the passion, also. So yeah, I think because my kids seen my mom, my auntie being a carer, they're just used to it, literally.
Yeah. And I think that's it, isn't it? People, it just needs to be the norm. It should be the norm by now.
Exactly.
Why is this still happening? But anyway, it's about the stuff that you are now going to be doing.
Yeah.
Trying to get into schools as well. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. And the support that you're trying to give people as well. So so if anybody wants to come on Thursday, then what do they need to expect? What are you going to be doing?
As I say before, lots of education in it, but a lot of fun as well. As I say before, we've got like gardening center where and it's like a residential home. I'm trying to get in for them to go and, volunteer their service, clock reading, as I say, and, some fun stuff going on, bowling, cinemas, a lot of things, the seaside, the disco, a lot of things, clubs. Yeah, it's just all of those things. And also we support their lunch as well on that day.
Okay.
Improve their life skills.
Wonderful. Yeah. So Shelley's just put on there, I grew up with my granddad who only had one leg. She volunteered as a teenager at a Down syndrome youth club. It's a different ability, not a disability. It is.
Exactly.
It
Well
is.
done.
It is. You know, it's amazing. I say that it's 2024 and we haven't come very far. Maybe that's not quite true, and we have. But it's also about wording as well, because in the States they use words that we have banished years ago. The way they refer to people with learning physical you know, the words that they use are words that we have not used in 30 or 40 years. So maybe we have come far.
Yeah,
we have. And your organization then is actually going to try and help more people along the way, which is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant.
You know, I just want to say, if you've got like a daughter or any kids, if one of your children has got, you know, disability, or my club is not just a disability, it's like voluntary. If you want to build confidence, do not scared to just come, because we don't treat them as, you know, okay, you've got something, it's going to be rub off on us. No, we don't. We welcome everyone. So yeah. And then, you know, we've got a great team, you know. Well, I've got a great team behind me, you know, Angela and Karen, they've been fantastic. So it will work. And yeah, anyone just come and join us.
Another thing that Shelley has said is autism is a different way of processing the word, not a processor error. Yes.
Yeah. And they're a lot smart. They are a lot smarter than us, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they are.
It's about sharing that, isn't it? It's about getting people to understand.
Exactly, yeah.
That all that is somebody sees something in a different way.
Yes, exactly.
They process it in a different way, and they may respond in a different way. But that doesn't mean it's, you know, that it's not the wrong way or the right way or anything. It's just they do things slightly different. But that is fine.
Yeah.
So, okay. Don't disappear. Don't disappear. Because we're going to get Tony on, and then hopefully we'll get you back on again. So Thursday, 4th of April, 12:30, you're going to be at the Irish Forum, which is on Hitchin Road, 102 Hitchin Road. And people can just come along, meet you, and see what they can get involved with.
Exactly. If they want to volunteer as well, any Thursdays, just come
along. Are you going to be there every Thursday?
Not at the Irish Forum. I'm going to be mainly in downstairs, all over. But you know, my number is on the flyer, so just give me a ring. And anyone out there who wants to volunteer their anything for Thursday for the club, just let me know, please.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We need more of that, definitely. So don't disappear.
Okay.
We're going to get Tony on with Nikkei, and we'll get you back on at the end. Okay. Over to you, Nikkei.
Yeah, thank you. Very interesting stuff. So, hello. Oh,
hi, Nico.
My head off. Hey, how are you doing, Tony?
I'm okay, my love. Yourself?
Oh, it's all good. It's always good after Easter, isn't it?
I tell you what, that previous conversation really struck a chord with me, because I've got a son who is 28 now, and he's autistic with global development delay. And I totally applaud Taniesha there for what she does, because being a parent of a disabled son, I can appreciate everything that she and Cecile, what they do in that industry. Because it is very hard, and in this day and age, more should be done. We're supposed to be a civilized, caring society, but we're not really. you know, in this world, everybody should be accepting of people who are different, for want of a better word, and everybody should appreciate other people, and indeed people should look at themselves and realise how lucky they are.
100%. 100%. I agree with you there. It's just this thing, isn't it, where we just seem to think that the average, normal and average are interchangeable. So I'm deliberately using the word average. We seem to think that that has to be the standard, and anything outside of that is not acceptable. Why? I find it very confusing myself. I just think that's not
well.
correct.
I tell you what, Nick. You know, with my son Christopher, you know, it's very hard when your child is diagnosed, and at the time it feels like the end of the world. And it takes a series of events. Myself and my wife, we went to a place called the Option Institute in America, and did a thing called the Sunrise Program, which ultimately we felt wasn't the right way for Chris, but it certainly helped us, and it made me in particular realise that Chris was a gift. Because I've learned so much from him when I see him. I mean, he's got the mental age of a 4-year-old. He's non-verbal, and he's 2-to-1 care because he's got very challenging behaviour. But when I, over the years, when I've seen him, he doesn't care if you're black, white, Asian, Christian, Jew, Muslim. It doesn't impact his world that, you know, whether you're gay, straight, you're trans or whatever. And and I look at it and I think, do you know what? In reality, who are the disabled ones? It's certainly not Chris. He's happy in his little world and everything else. It's the rest of us who've got all the problems and the issues. And that's why I think I'm so lucky to have him. I mean, the other side of the coin for me is, of course, how many guys can say they've got a 28-year-old son who'll come and sit in his lap, give him a hug, give him a kiss, and you know, I mean, I don't get that from my daughter now, you know. I mean, she's given us 3 wonderful grandchildren, and we're going through the process again. But the other thing I wanted to say is, you know, there isn't enough support and the help for people like Christopher, but and parents, because you're left to fight on your own. Because I can remember first dealing with social services, and they're sitting there, us expecting you to turn around and say, "This is what we need. This is what we want." And we're sitting back as parents expecting them to go, "We can offer you this, this and this." And it always seems to be a constant battle, you know. And there's certainly as well, there's not enough support for siblings as well.
I think
Definitely
that's why
not
you
enough
get
support for siblings.
a lot of organisations like what Taniesha's doing and stuff, because you can't get it through the local authority. Okay, so Tony, so obviously you told us a bit about yourself. So you're married, got grandchildren, a 28-year-old autistic son. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us? We have
I don't know where to start really. For my sins, I'm you know, I was born and grew up in Luton. Both my parents moved to Luton from Dublin, so I've got family in Ireland and, you know, lots of places across the world. But Luton to me is a very special place. It's a very strong multicultural community which always comes together and works hard together. You know, one of my personal beefs is I think the town gets a lot of unfair bad press, which is one of the things I see to put it right. I'm a lifelong Luton Town supporter. good or bad.
Are we going to stay up? Are we staying up?
I'd like to think so, but the way things are going at the moment with the injuries, I don't know. I'm also chair of our supporters trust, and the supporters trust does try to do a lot with the local community, as well as support the club and have a number of issues, ongoing things. I mean, one of the big charities we're supporting and helping at the moment is Bed's prostate cancer support group, which is a very worthwhile cause. The patron of that is Mick Harford, so we've helped to raise a lot of money, and of course we're now trying to do our bit to help the British Heart Foundation, considering what has happened to Tom Lockyer, our player. So there's a lot going on. We're not just there for to help and provide support for the football team, but also to help and provide support for the community of Luton.
Yeah. So how do you get out there then? So how do you go from being a supporters club, I mean, obviously raising money for charity, but to getting things done in the community?
Well, there's the community trust that operates through the football club, so we try and promote what they do and help them. And when people come to us and say, we need help with this, or can you help us with that, we try to promote whatever we can. Although you have to bear in mind that primarily we are there for Luton Town supporters, but we try and do our bit for the town as well. We've recently been involved with the Tracy Crouch Commission that's behind the football regulator that's supposed to be coming in, and we were the only supporters trust that actually gave a presentation to the Tracy Crouch Commission at the Houses of Parliament. So we're out there. But like all organisations, we're only as strong as our membership. So we're always trying to recruit to get more people to join. It's like Luton Town supporters, it's £10 a season to join us, and we do have social events. We have our yearly presentation evening, which the next one's coming up in May, where we present players and a few awards, like the goal scorer, player of the season, that type of thing. But we try to keep our members apprised of everything that's going on at the club. We have a very strong working relationship with 2020, the owners of the football club, and indeed we are shareholders in the football club. So any members that join us get a share in the trust, which ultimately means they've got a share in the football club, so we can help to influence decisions. And the trust is we're consulted regularly by 2020. We know them very well. Indeed, the CEO, Gary Sweet, was a founding member of the trust, as I was, and very influential in setting up of the trust and helping to get a road owner out of the club. And as well as that, we own the image rights to the club, which was gifted to us by 2020. So the club cannot change their name, their nickname, their badge, the club colours without consulting us. So every year we get consulted on the following season's kits, and it works quite well, because to give an example, a few seasons ago when we were in League One, there was a problem with getting the correct colour kit. So Gary phoned me and said, "Tony, we've got an issue. Would you guys object to us playing in all orange?" So I can't make that decision on my own. I have to refer to the board. And we discussed it and said we had no problem. But you think no other football club in the country does that.
It's nice. That's a lovely form of engagement. It keeps people involved and supportive. That's really good. Well, I was going to ask you a question.
Go on, fire away. You ask me anything.
It's just something you said there about the rights. Okay, so I was talking to my husband the other day because he's always going on about the new stadium.
Right.
And I'm like, well, where is it going to be? And I'm like, well, what's going to happen if you move to the new stadium? Are you still going to be called the Hatters? And
Yes.
like, well, what are you talking about? How's that going to work?
Well, the club will simply move from Kenilworth Road to the new stadium at Power Court. Nothing else will change. It will still be Luton Town. It will still be the Hatters. It will still be the same board of directors. It will still have the same the same trust. So going forward, the only thing that will be changed is a brand new stadium with state of the art facilities, and it will be able to house a lot more supporters because there's such a demand for tickets for games.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I've had, because I'm chair of the trust, the supporters do know me. And the playoff final last year, I had people sending me messages, and I had a couple of people knock on my door. Is there any chance of getting any tickets? And I'm like, when it comes to something like that, I'm the same as any other supporter. I have to buy my season ticket. I have to, ring up the ticket office and get tickets, or go down in person and send an email. I get no special privileges. So, and that's how it should be. That's how it should be. So, no, nothing will change. With a new stadium, it will be easier to get tickets because, at the moment, Kenilworth Road can hold up to 12,000. But the new stadium, it will be almost double that initially, 23,000.
Wow. That's amazing.
And demand. The demand is there. The demand is there. We're a growing club. We're definitely ones for the future, and we're enjoying our time in the Premier League, even though the results are not going the way we like. But we're enjoying it, and it perhaps has come a couple of seasons too early, but we'll take advantage of it while we can. And we may go down, but we won't go down without a fight.
Oh no, you guys have been amazing. It's just I watch every time again, and I'm like, oh my god, and what happened? Yeah, I was gutted. Right. Oh yeah, Shelley's explaining to people about the fact that of the hat trade that used to go on in Luton, as opposed to it being with the ground, which not a lot of people.
Can I just say, going on from that question at the bottom, you've got to remember that the people who own Luton Town Football Club, the 2020, they are all Lutonians. They are all Luton. They're all Luton supporters, and they're like me. I'm very much a traditionalist regarding football, so there will still be the connections. There will still be the Hatters. There'll still be the connection with Eric Morecambe and everything else that's gone historically, because there's a lot of history with the club. Because yesterday, Easter Monday, was an anniversary as well, because Joe Payne played in a game back in 1936. And he scored 10 goals in that game when we beat Bristol Rovers 12-0. And that record has stood since then, as nobody has ever scored 10 goals in a Football League game, or a Premier League game for that matter. So, that's something to celebrate. And there will be all that, there's that connection. They'll never lose that. They'll never lose that.
Yeah. So we've got a comment here from Sharon, and she mentions it will be great to have a stand for Ricky Hill. Mm-hmm. Have you got any?
I mean, Ricky Hill. I mean, I was fortunate enough to see him play in the flesh, and absolutely superb player for us. A great player and a great bloke as well. And you know, I'm not averse to seeing a stand name for Ricky Hill, you know, or even a statue at the ground or something like that.
Oh, a statue. We need
Yeah,
a statue,
there's,
not just a name, we need a statue.
there's been so many great players playing for Luton over the years, you know, certainly in my ears, starting with the likes of Bruce Rook, and Malcolm McDonald, and then of course Ricky Hill, Peter Anderson, one of my personal favourites, and then you've got Brian Steen and his brother Mark Steen. Paul Elliott was another one who went on to play for Chelsea and Celtic. You know, there's been some great players, and I tell you what, this is something that I'll tell you a quick story. I've got family in South Africa, right? And my cousin went out there to pay a visit, and he went out with his girlfriend, and they paid a visit to Robben Island, and one of the tour guide was a former inmate on Robben Island, and my cousin was wearing a Luton shirt, and this tour guide spotted it, he saw the badge and went, over Luton Town. My cousin said, yeah, and he said, 1988 Littlewoods Cup final, League Cup final. He said, yeah. He said, I was sharing a cell with Nelson Mandela. And he said, we weren't allowed to have radios, but one of the prisoners' guards smuggled in a radio. And he said, I was in the cell listening with the guard and with Nelson Mandela to that game. He said, will you beat Arsenal 3-2? He said, yeah. Brian Steen scored 2 goals. And he said, Brian Steen's father, Isaiah Steen, was a very close friend of Nelson Mandela's, and we were gobsmacked. And he turned around and he said, Nelson Mandela was a hatter.
Wow. What an absolute thing.
My cousin was absolutely gobsmacked. He said, you know, and when he told me, I thought, no, I said, no, that's got to be made up. But we were at a social event and Brian Steen was there. And my cousin asked Brian, and he said to him, we told him the story. He said, that's true. And Brian said, yeah, it's true. It's a true story.
Wow.
He said, Nelson was a hatter. And he said, his dad was really close friends with Nelson Mandela. And I thought, you know what? I am so proud to be a hatter that just made me think, you know, blimey, whatever happens, nobody can say that, you know?
That one. Yeah.
So is that written anywhere? Is that in a book or something? Has it been?
I don't think so. I don't think it's something that's actually been recorded or put down. I think it should be, you know, and I whatever it is, it's a great story. It's a great, but to have it confirmed by Brian Steen was just magical, because you know you're initially thinking, yeah, it's just one of those things. I bet that guard will say that to anybody who's wearing a shirt or something similar. But when Brian confirmed it, it was like, oh my god, that's brilliant. That's absolutely amazing.
It's I don't know whether you've realised by looking at the messages. So Sharon Hill is one of our very, 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 very close colleagues, friends. She's sisterhood, the whole lot. Obviously, that's Vicky's wife. So we would like a statue so that we can hug when we go down there. We would like a statue somewhere.
Allow us a statue for us all to hug.
I tell you what, you know, who needs to hug the statue? We could have the man himself there and actually give him a hug.
Well, some of us do see him on a occasional basis, and we do get to have that hug. But we'd like a statue as well. We want both. We want both. Yeah. So that's our campaign.
Well, I mean, we'd certainly push for it.
Campaign.
Sharon says she's going to share him. Don't share him with everybody, Sharon. He's a special man.
Sharon.
Share him with everyone.
He was a great player, Ricky Hill. You know, at the moment, you know, everybody's talking about Ross Barkley being great, which he is. He's a great player. And even though the success he's had and playing for England and everything, I think he's still got a lot to live up to, Ricky. And I mean, one of the great tragedies was that Ricky didn't play more often for England. You know, he certainly was the equal of other players that were around at the time who were getting caps. And I think, honestly, but for the fact that he played for Luton, I think if he'd have played for a more fashionable club, he'd have certainly got more international caps. But having said that, I'm glad he spent most of his career at Luton. You know?
Before we get Taniesha back on, I just wanted to share with you that on Saturday I was in London and happened to come back on the train where most of the supporters were on, and sat next to two guys who have been following Luton since the 60s. And I'd said to the friend that I was with, I said, they're really quiet. So they obviously didn't win. And obviously, you know, they said, I don't know, 2 or 4 minutes in, there was a goal, 80 minutes in, it was 1-1. And then, you know, so, and we had a very long conversation around Luton and football, and one guy's moved away and he still comes back and watches the matches and all of this lot. You know, you said right near the beginning about, did you say unfortunately born and bred in Luton or something along those lines?
No, I said I didn't say unfortunately born in Luton. I said I was born in Luton. Both my parents were immigrants from Dublin. But what I'm saying is, I think I'm a very proud Lutonian, and I think Luton's a very special place. As I said earlier, the one thing that gets to me is it gets a lot of bad press, which is unfair and unwarranted. You know, I've done it in you know, growing up, you're going on holiday and you meet somebody and they say to you, where are you from? And you say, I'm from Luton, and they sort of take a couple of steps away from you. And I mean, well, why? Well, because of the reputation of your town. And I said, well, lots of places have got bad reputation. Everywhere you go, there's a good place, there's a bad part, isn't there? You know? But the one thing I will say, you can go anywhere in the world. I mean, one of the strangest ones I had, I was in New York, and I wore a Luton football shirt, and I was at the top of the Empire State Building. All of a sudden, this guy comes over, grabs me, hugs me, and said, I thought I was the only hatter in New York. And I thought, that's amazing. You know, wherever you go, you will get that in the strangest of places. Luton. I'm Luton. I'm a hatter.
I am a proud, as Jenny said, I am a proud Lutonian.
Yeah.
And Jenny's put, never making apologies for that. I am a proud. Anybody else
don't apologise for it at all. Don't apologise for it at all. You know, and we're a fantastic community. Do you know? It's like people say to me, I've heard of Marsh Farm, it's a bad place. I said, no, it isn't. I said, it you know, I've been around there. Years ago, I used to work for NTL. I used to sell cable television. I've walked around Marsh Farm 9 o'clock at night with a big bag of cash and no hassle, no problem whatsoever, you know. And I found if something happens to you in Luton, everybody's in. They want to help. They want to do their bit, and you know, it doesn't matter. And where else? You walk through Bury Park late at night, and you've still got the stalls open and everything else. One of the best places to be in Luton is Bury Park on Eid. It's brilliant, fantastic.
Luton has come up top quite often for, I think it was Just Giving, for being the most charitable place in the UK. And going back to the football, and you say you got people all over the place, Luton Town has always been known to be the community football team. No matter what level we were in, it was always known as that. My cousin, well, I say my cousin, it's my mum's cousin, her son, so he's never been to the UK. He's never, well, not that he remembers, he was little last time he came. But because he's so into sports, his football team, so he's got his American football team and he does baseball and he does everything else. His football team has always been Luton Town, and we've always had to send stuff over for him every season. And he'll watch soccer, as it is, over there. but his team has always been Luton Town. Now, he's never been, as I said, he's never been as an adult over here, but he'll always follow. And Luton Town has always been that community football team. And Luton's such an
it is incredible.
4 generations of Lutonians.
We've got affiliated to our organisation. We've got supporters clubs from all over the world. One of the most well-known one is Scandinavian Hatters, who come over on a regular basis. We've got them in Holland, Italy, Australia, in America, in Ireland. You know, it's absolutely incredible. And I'm part of Luton Town Supporters Trust podcast, which recently I haven't been able to be part of, but I intend to get back into it. But when you look at the figures when our podcast is downloaded, you see something like 55,000 downloads, and in places like Costa Rica, and you think, why would anybody in Costa Rica like Luton Town? And we had a guy come over from Costa Rica, first time in Kenilworth Road, and he brought a Costa Rican flag with him and with Luton Town on it, and you know, he's part of a WhatsApp group I'm in now, and it's fantastic, you know, to see these people who you think have no connection with Luton whatsoever, but they love the team. They come over and you know, they say, I've been round the town. I love it. It's a great place, and it is a great place.
We could sit here all day talking about Luton and Luton Town and the football and just Luton as a whole. Is Taniesha still there?
Yeah. Could I just ask Tony a question quickly? Tony, when is the do we have any news of when the new stadium is actually going to be up and running?
Well, as far as I'm aware, that the hold-ups have been because the ground was more contaminated than they thought it was. They've got to divert the River Lee running through it, and they've had the old electricity substation which they've had to move, and there's been some delays with UK Power Networks and their Network Rail over that. But they're ground clearing at the moment, and I'm led to believe that the construction should start in January of next year. So it just depends how long it takes them to build the stadium. Obviously the plans have been upgraded since planning permission was put in. They've got planning permission to do it, you know, so it is going to happen. It's just a question of when. So we all want it as soon as possible, but you know, having said that, it would be a sad day leaving Kenilworth Road, because for all its faults and everything, we love it dearly.
It's worth man, isn't it?
You know, it's a unique ground, a traditional old football ground, and it will be a sad day when we leave there. But for the benefit, for the future of the club, for the growth of the club, we desperately need a new stadium. And I know 2020 wants to be in there as soon as possible.
One of those guys that I was speaking to on Saturday on the train, we were talking about Kenilworth Road and how somehow that needs to be immortalised before it turns into houses. I don't know how they do that, whether they take millions of pictures, film it, I don't know, but they need to somehow have that somewhere so that it isn't just...
One of the plans for the new stadium is the museum will be part of the ground, so it will incorporate all of that into it. And I mean, when we first had discussions with 2020 about the new stadium and everything, one of the things we were asked was, well, what do you want to see? How do you want to see the new ground? And we said, well, we want it to be like Kenilworth Road, where we're right up on top of the pitch, which we are at Kenilworth Road. It's very intimidating for opposing players, and that's how we want it. We don't want a soulless bowl. We want it to be unique. We want it to have different features, and a lot of the features that we've got at Kenilworth Road, and that's what they're looking to put into it. And of course, one of the things that's going to make it stand out is the halo. You know, which is not, which is the floodlights. It's going to be like a strip all around, following the perimeter of the pitch, and the floodlights will shine down onto it, and it will it will look impressive.
So, because we're running out of time, going to wrap it all up. What I'm taking away from today is that Luton is multicultural. It has community, it has support, it has ventures like what Taniesha has put together, you know, to help people with various different disabilities, difference, everything. You know, Tony is there talking about our football team that has been around since 1885. Did you know that? There's people out there do not know that. I know that because my brother keeps telling me. I know that. And one of those guys had it on his t-shirt. But I remember that. 1885. Absolutely brilliant. You know, so we have a football team and we're going to have a fantastic stadium as well. All of that feeds into Luton. You know, that town that keeps being put at the top of the dirtiest or the this, the that, the whatever. When actually it's much more than that. It is much more than that. So that's what I'm taking from today. Taniesha, thank you for coming on. We'll have you back on again. We'll tell us a bit more about what you're doing, but that's Thursday, Irish Forum, 12:30. Yes. Anybody want any information? If you haven't got their email or their website, come and talk to us. Come and talk to us. Tony, you were just about to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Taniesha, brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Keep doing what you do.
Thank you. Maybe your son will join us. You've got a son.
Yeah, you know, if you want to find, you know, find me on Facebook or whatever, and send me a message. I'll be only too pleased. If I can do anything, help in any way, I will, because it's brilliant what you do, and keep on doing it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Shelley, have you got anything to share?
Yeah, Dee's got me busy tonight. Real Talk with Simply Deez tonight from 7 o'clock. I don't know who's going to be on until it pops up on her feed. There's a few names that we've got on there tonight. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a long one, I think. So, yes.
Well, I know one of the guests, and anybody wants to hear a bit of poetry, a bit of spoken word, you know, hear about what they're doing and what he's doing in the community. Yeah, you need to get on the show. You need to come watch the show tonight.
Would that be our Quintin that you're on about?
It is Quintin that I'm talking about. Yes, one of ours. He's one of ours, and absolutely
with many hats.
Yes, many hats. So, Real Talk show tonight, 7 p.m. Should be finished by 10-ish, depending on how many guests he's got.
I just press the button. She just carries on talking.
But we will be back again next week, 12 o'clock next Tuesday. Right. See you all then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.